during the interview. And the biggest argument I think that people are giving, right, is there are many people who are saying, hey, this is wrong, right? He shouldn't have done it. But I think there are a bunch who are actually saying, why didn't you push back? I think that's one of the key pieces. They're saying, why didn't you push back on this, right? And I get that concept completely, right? I definitely do. All right, let me this last piece if I could. And this is them kind of joking. Here they are joking about whether or not someone's a Fed.
I thought you were a Fed.
I thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed.
Yeah, we showed each other a badge as we know well.
I had Joe Kent here to my house. I did this interview with him, and I'm always in search of a sincere politician. Don't have to agree on everything, but I really believe sincerity is the whole game. If someone's heart is pure, he will be brave. I was like, this guy is really sincere. He's like a good person. And then you show up and you're like, he's a CIA officer.
Joe Kent is CIA.
Like really, like crush the guy. And it's like, why of all people, you agree on 90% of stuff? You know, that was my view. And I was like, well, clearly this kid's a Fed. I thought you were a Fed.
Now, the piece I get is Nick Fuentes drops the N-bomb like there's no tomorrow. He has said literally that women should keep quiet. His words, women should shut up and be quiet. Black people should be in jail. I'm not saying anything out of, so this is not insults that I'm saying. I'm not trying to be Cal Kalinske and just insult him. I'm not saying this. I'm saying this is what he has said openly and happily. And if he was talking to me, he would say that. But I don't remember. I know Tucker, I couldn't watch the whole thing here and there just because, I mean, it was tough to watch is what I would say. It was tough to watch. But at no point do I remember Tucker just going, why would you say those things? Just, why would you say those things? I think that's a piece. If I had to interview him, and I would totally take the interview, just be very clear. I'm not a hypocrite here at all. I would absolutely do it. There's no doubt. If Nick Fuentes wants to come on this show, I'm interviewing him 100%. So I'm just being very clear. I absolutely would do that. Yes, I totally would. So, but I wouldn't just be nice like that. I would, you guys see me interview. I go back and forth, but you do see me. I do press people for what they actually think, why they do things, all those things possible, right? Rick says it right. Fuentes doesn't mind being called all the Islamophobia. He does not. He happily embraces them. He doesn't care. He's happy. And here's the part. Rick, thank you for bringing this up. This is the other part that bothers me about this. And this part is the left's fault. And if you lean left, you'll be angry when I say it, but it's still true. This part is the left's fault. The left spent so much time since, last 10 years or so, it's about that, calling everybody who didn't follow exactly what they said, who didn't say the exact words supposed to say, who didn't act the same way that you're supposed to. They were all ists and phobes. And when you call everyone an ist and a phobe, the actual ists and phobes are protected. And this is the perfect example of that, Rick. He actually is an ist and a phobe. That's true. And he would admit it. You're right. He doesn't care. Like, yes, I'm the thing. But when I'm going back 10 years or so, when you called somebody an ist or phobe, they went, no, I'm not an ist. I'm not a phobe. We said, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And they weren't ists or phobes. They were making mistakes or didn't understand something or weren't sure about something. And we didn't say, let's have a conversation. We said, you're horrible. You're bad. And when I say we, I mean corporate America and the left in general did that. I know I was in it. I watched it happen. It's one of the reasons why I stopped doing corporate training. I was telling somebody this the other day. One of the reasons why I stopped doing corporate training, because corporate training was becoming wokeism. It was becoming that, which doesn't work. It only harms. DEI does have value if it is done as a way of empathetic feeling, empathetic thought process, not having quotas, but changing how you recruit and things like that to naturally, voluntarily create a more integrated, a more diverse workforce. Absolutely can work. I used to teach it all the time. It's important. That changed. And that changed. It started changing around maybe 2010-ish in that area, 2012-ish in that area. I'm not sure exactly when it started changing, but it started changing. And by the time it was 2015, 2018, it wasn't worth me even teaching anymore because I couldn't teach it because the garbage they were teaching me was just harmful. what they were teaching increased racism. It increased is and phobes. It increased them. And now protected them. Now a guy like Fuentes goes, I don't care. And here's the worst part. So many people who've been called it, as I have been called it, just don't care anymore. Like, you called me that, and I'm not that. Well, so there we go. Yeah, so thank you for that. I appreciate you bringing that piece up. So, absolutely. All right. Matt says, like Chank said, might not agree about everything with someone, but take the wins when you do. I'm with you, right? I'm with you, but I don't know. What do I agree with on Nick Fuentes with? I don't know. I don't know him well enough. I don't really talk to him usually, but on the ist and phobe stuff, I don't. Now, the funny thing is, Tucker Carlson said it, but he said it in a way. What Carlson did, I think, wrong, is he said things like, you know, you blame all the Jews. So Tucker said something like that. But that can't be true. That isn't true. My Christian faith tells me that's not true. My Christian faith tells me that's not true. Now, maybe he believes that. I don't know Tucker personally at all, if that's a big part of his life. I don't know. But you could just go, you know that's not true, right? Like, you know that's not true, right? I mean, you know people who are Jewish clearly aren't part of whatever cabal you think exists. That's the style I might have used, something like that. I mean, you know that, right? And then he would go back and go, no, they're all, or whatever. And then you bring him out in that regard, and he says what he's going to say. A much better way of doing it than just going, well, my Christian faith tells me that's not true. Okay, next. And you guys know, I'm not confrontational when I interview. I'm not. You don't come to my show for blood sport. That's not. You can go on so many shows and watch blood sport. I'm not blood sport. I'm trying to get to why someone thinks something. I'm trying to get to why that is. I want to get deep into what someone's thinking, why they did what they did. You see my interviews, I used to do that kind of thing. I'm not sitting here going, I just want to yell. I want to virtue signal. But the other part is, he didn't even virtue signal well. He didn't even virtue signal well. So I guess there's a part of me that says, man, I'm upset because he didn't even virtue signal well. Like, he didn't do any of the things well, right? None of them. He did none of the things. So, yes. All right. Let me walk down some of these if I can. I'm going to grab a couple more of these comments, and then I'll go down a couple more if I could. All right. Phil says, Rick says, first Atlanta acknowledgement. This YouTube channel was built on the ancestral lands of first meme and shit posters. True. You're not wrong. True. So, I did an Atlanta acknowledgement. I hope that people are happy about that. So, here we go. Yes. All righty. Mike says, Fuentes is not popular nor acknowledged by the right. He is fringe at best. Media uses him to demonize MAGA. Utterly untrue. Mike, what are you talking about? He went to have dinner with the President of the United States. Don't tell me he's not popular. Him and Ye are like buddies. Stop that. That's 100% not true. I know you don't like him because he's a bad representative of the right. True. Accurate statement. Bad representative of MAGA. True. You're right. But to say he's not popular, stop. Stop. Have you seen his numbers? They kick my ass and your ass combined. He's popular. You don't want to accept that, that's up to you. He is popular. Absolutely popular. And he's not left. Well, unless you're Dana Loesch, then he's left. He's woke right, according to her. I know you hate that, Mike. Mike's probably yelling at me right now. So, yeah, I know he hates that. So, yeah, absolutely. Mike does not like, oh, my God. Okay. Mike does not like Nick for sure. He got a couple things he says. Roshi, nothing about Fuentes is newsworthy. Media has elevated him to distract from Kirk, death, and leftist doctrinate policies and violence. Fuentes has been popular for years, dude. He's been growing for years. He has been. The guy doesn't stop. The one thing Fuentes does well, I always give credit where credit is due, no matter what. Even if I don't like the person, I still do it. Here's what he does well. He never stops fighting. He never stops. He never backs down, ever. And he always insults. He doesn't stop. And again, whether you agree with him or not, it's attractive to people. People like, when people see him, even though they hate what he says, they still like the fact that they believe that he is real.